Welcome back. The Coca Cola 250 continues here on speed, and out front once again it's Mike Wallace with Ron Hornaday pushing from behind, and now we have Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch again trying to challenge for the lead.
What about my man Grant Enfinger? He's coming. He's up on the outside.
Got a little push from Todd Bodine.
And there's Johnny Sauter, Phil. We talked about there wasn't a lot of damage to that truck. He's pushing Brendan Gaughan, running really fast laps. He's not in a position right now to be, yes, he's gotten around Wes Burton. He is in a position to be the Aaron's lucky dog. So remember we talked about how they recover? Man, if he recovers from a crash at Talladega and gets back in this thing.
And obviously has a pretty fast truck. Watch him out there.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy.
Very close. Look who's behind him, Todd Bodine. As they went through the trial, a very close call for the 82 of Grant Enfinger.
Oh no, this is going to be 3 wide, and it's not going to work out well.
They don't have a lot of room here. Another battle for the lead. Here comes Austin Dillon with a push from Kyle Busch. Let's see if anybody comes unhooked in this situation.
And remember, Kyle Busch was involved in our first incident where he had a little bit of damage to the left front. You see the tape on the left side of that truck.
That's the battle for the lead, and this is what we think could turn bad. We see Enfinger. I've done this before, Phil. It makes me really nervous.
Right up to the top of the racetrack. Not a whole lot of margin for error up there for Grant Enfinger.
Now to the bottom goes the 5 of Bodine, or at least to the inside of that 82 of Grant Enfinger.
You know, we watched him push Parker Kligerman, Todd Bodine, a whole lot the same way, and it didn't end well for Parker. You could see Todd on the outside, but see that point there.
Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch just separated once again, and that put the 33 and the 2 way out in front of him.
Now this is an experience on Enfinger's part. He needs to get on the brakes right away and get Todd back to him as soon as he can if he wants to go fast. Now if he wants to survive, that might not be the best idea.
But he could be going fast.
It's risky.
Very risky. A lot of fluid from up in front of this 30. We're seeing it on our camera.
Yeah, more than likely somebody's overheating because of being tucked in behind somebody.
Maybe Johnny Sauter.
Could be possibly Johnny Sauter, as we have a side-by-side two-way battle for the lead.
How can you not like this two-truck racing? I mean, we got battles all over the place.
Austin Dillon couldn't quite clear Mike Wallace, so Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch still back in the 3rd and 4th spot. Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday running first, second. You're seeing the 2 move out to the outside of that 33, trying to get some air into the radiator of that truck.
You know, these guys have been hooked up this way the entire race, so obviously KHI did their homework with the cooling system, because Ron Hornaday has been able to push that 33 of Mike Wallace this entire race.
Yeah, and they've thought of every detail, from the way they exit pit road to the way they push each other. They haven't varied from their strategy. This is awesome to see somebody have a plan that is so buttoned up.
Ray, it seems like this plan is working very well for the 2 and the 33.
And what they've learned, guys, so far is that they've got to be at the bottom of the racetrack, because if they force that 3 and 18 to the high side, they don't believe they're good enough together to make that pass. But if they were able to get to the inside of them, especially in the tri-oval, they might be able to pull it off. But right now, the bottom seems to be the fastest for the 2 KHI trucks.
What you got? Still there.
Right
Still
now,
inside.
the 3 and 18 are up beside the 33 and 2 as they work their way into 3 and 4.
That's a perfect shot that the bumpers don't match up at all. You see, it's the grill of the 2 truck of Ron Hornaday that's pushing the rear bumper of Mike Wallace's truck.
And the back 2 trucks, Phil, if Austin Dillon could get over there and get his left front fender on the quarter panel of Ron Hornaday, he could pull those trucks apart. He could put enough aero drag on the back truck to separate them two and maybe drive around them. That's what Austin needs to be playing with right now, trying to figure out how to manipulate the truck of Ron Hornaday to possibly pull them apart. He can use that information that comes to the last few laps.
And that truck may be moving around, Michael, but he's not comfortable getting that close. And we know they have somewhat of a teammate relationship with that 2 truck. Even though they're battling for a championship, that's KHI RCR together as they go for the lead.
Still there.
You can see, though, Austin stayed down there closer to the 30. Oh, 33's off the road.
33 wild just in front of the 2. That will give up the lead to Austin Dillon, and Kyle Busch moves up to second. So it's Dillon and Busch running 1 and 2 at Talladega.
Mike Wallace got pushed down on the apron.
Chris Fontaine in the 84 is going to slam into the inside wall.
He's already made contact with the outside wall. Looks like Johnny Sauter right now Caution flag is out. Johnny Sauter will get our Aaron's lucky dog and be back in contention for a decent finish.
Holy cow, what a job by Joe Shear. All that team down on pit road, they fixed that truck, and now he's going to have a chance to win the race.
He scored, or was scored in the 23rd spot, one lap down.
Didn't mean to wreck you.
When the caution came out, Chris Fontaine in the 84.
Our scoring monitor showing Miguel Paludo in front of Johnny Sauter. If Miguel Paludo passed him just prior to that, then Miguel Paludo would be in position to get Aaron's lucky dog. So we'll have to wait for NASCAR. We're hearing now that just at the very last instant, Miguel Paludo was able to get in front of Johnny Sauter, and it will be him, the 7, that gets the lucky dog, not Johnny Sauter.
I'm going to guess there probably is going to be another chance for Johnny Sauter to get an Aaron's lucky dog.
Did you see the front? Well, it was the grill of the two. It's not the front bumper. It's the grills where they're wearing away that tape that they put on the front of that truck, hoping that they would not stick together.
And that tape, when it gets boogered up like that, it becomes more abrasive and more sticky. And that's probably causing what we're seeing now, those trucks starting to move around a little bit.
And let's don't minimize the fact that Chris Fontaine has made some pretty significant contact with the outside wall and inside wall.
See if we can figure out how these two. You can see Hornaday's way out on Mike Wallace, but down in the center of the corner, Wallace gets sideways.
Right there.
Sideways right there, because the 3 and the 18 were closer to them. That was probably closer than they'd been the entire time.
And it worked. It worked for Austin to get the lead. It didn't work so good for the 33. God, he almost crashed that truck.
And Ron Hornaday had to be on his toes too and back off him and let him get it straightened out.
But you can see how Ron moved from. Well, he was
pretty square when he
right
got
there
sideways.
when it happened.
This is the 84 of Chris Fontaine. There he makes pretty substantial contact with the inside safer barrier. Those are safer barriers on the inside of the racetrack here because of the speeds we've been talking about. 195 miles an hour on this track.
Phil, you and I both hit that wall down there when it was concrete, and it just makes me want to hug NASCAR for installing those barriers everywhere around the circuit, because when we come to Talladega, there's no way anyone can predict all the different places we can crash at.
We found just about everyone.
Safety crews working on the 84 truck. They will get that back to pit road and behind the wall and in the garage. And Chris Fontaine will make a trip to the infield care center to be checked out.
This will be an opportunity for these guys to save a little fuel on this caution flag, give them a little cushion.
Back for the restart in just a few moments. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. By Just for Men Hair Color, Live Forward. And by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram.
Guys, we're going to have some more strategy here now for this restart. Michael, remember Daytona, how you worked with Elliott Sadler and you had to physically get with him on that last restart.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I'm going to start on the low side and let you have the lead, Elliott. I felt weird. A 1-2 lap dash, and I'm going to give up the lead. Just let some guy pass me. But we're hearing the same things. Austin Dillon has chosen the high side. I believe that means Kyle Busch won't get a good start. Austin will pull over. Ever how they work it out. But that's what's going to start happening. We're going to manipulate these restarts with guys switching lanes and letting each other in. It's going to get tense.
Ray Dunlap.
Kevin Harvick has been on the radio explaining that exact situation, saying they will probably get to the bottom. The 2 KHI trucks should go to the top. Hornaday must square up on that back bumper, and they have now raised that water temperature limit for Ron Hornaday all the way to 280. He said in this short amount of time, get what you can get, but you'll have to be square to be fast enough to beat them. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Michael Waltrip was just talking about the finish at Daytona. Well, ironically enough, Kyle Busch has been on the radio coaching Austin Dillon, or telling his team to tell his crew chief where he needs to go. He told Austin Dillon to take the top side of the racetrack, and once they cross the start-finish line, he can pull down in front of the 18, and they'll go and try to settle it among themselves at the end. But kind of funny that Kyle Busch is telling Austin Dillon where to go here, but we'll see how it works out.
Working together to see if one of the two can get to victory lane. Well, we know it's going to be a close finish. Just how close will it be? A year ago here, the closest ever finish in Truck Series history since they've implemented electronic scoring. It's been amazing.
And Kyle Busch was sideways. Watch this now. Watch as they get to the start-finish line here.
Look at
Makes
that
contact.
That truck on the bottom, sideways, sliding around. That's who won the race.
He is pushing the 51. Eric Almirola behind the wheel in this race. Kyle Busch goes down to the inside, all the way down to the double yellow line, and he edges him by 2/1000ths of a second.
And Johnny Sauter finished third, and I bet you he wasn't 5 or 6 1/1000ths of a second behind.
And I bet he was watching Kyle Busch and saying, are you going to save that truck, or are we all going to crash after the checkered flag? But man, this is what it's all about right here. These guys up front, Austin, Kyle, Mike Wallace, Ron Hornaday, Busher, Ricky Carmichael, Max Pappas, they've all given themselves a chance to win this race. These are going to be some of the most intense 6 laps, and it's probably going to be more like 10 because there'll be a caution. We'll have to extend the race.
Green white checker here or there.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, the big question, and we saw how Kyle Busch went down on the double yellow line there. He was not advancing his position. He was forced down there because of sideways. I mean, he was literally sideways. But you cannot advance your position at Talladega or Daytona by going below the double yellow line. So in this situation, these guys are going to have 6 laps of racing, and they know that they can't go outside of those boundaries.
And I don't think I could have been any more torn up than I was at Vegas with all the action, how crazy that race is, but this tops it. This is going to be a crazy 6 laps.
We'll see how strategy plays out. The 3 and the 18 have been working together. Now they're side by side on this restart.
Green flag.
6 laps of racing to go. Green flag back in the air.
As soon as he crosses the start-finish line to the bottom, Kyle Busch gets hold of the bumper. You can see in the back there, Hornaday shot right up behind Mike Wallace. They did a perfect job as well.
The dancing partners have shown themselves immediately here.
Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon became unhooked.
Out for debris, caution out for debris.
Debris on the racetrack. Caution has come out once again.
They see that was inexperience on Austin's part. Austin got too good of a start on Kyle Busch. He was too far ahead of him, so Kyle couldn't get to him. What Austin needs to do, as soon as he pulls over, run half throttle. Feel that truck of Kyle Busch, get into the back of him, and then gently squeeze the gas down. Look at all that debris, Rick.
Yeah, the debris on the racetrack, and one of the trucks just hit it. That's why the caution came back out.
Now we're going to have Mike Wallace and Ron Hornaday. Now we'll be starting both in the front row, so I think we're going to have the same situation. One of them is going to let the other one pull out in front of them so they can get hooked up right away.
But you remember in the Daytona 500, David Reagan had that plan to pull over right away. He pulled over too soon. You cannot change lanes before the green flag or before the start-finish line. Reagan was penalized. So Austin Dillon, while he needs to get a good jump and he needs to get to the left, he's got to wait till, Ron Hornaday, he's got to wait till, and Austin Dillon the same way. Everybody's got to get across the start-finish line before they start moving around. So whether you're Hornaday and Wallace or Dillon and Busch, clear the start-finish line. There's our lucky dog. How cool is that? I like this story too.
Big championship implications right here with Johnny Sauter getting the Aaron's lucky dog. Now he'll be back on the lead lap as we have just 4 laps to go when the green flag potentially will fly and they get lined back up 2 by 2. So Johnny Sauter will have to make his way around the racetrack to get that lap back.
Well, if he wins this championship this year, it's just because they fought back. That would be a great story to see this team, after all they've been through, still be in the battle for the championship when we get down to Miami.
You know, Austin Dillon, our point leader coming into this race, has an average finish of just over 10. Nobody has ever won one of these championships with an average finish more than 10. So obviously if he can stay up here and get a good finish here, a good top 3 finish, that's going to help his average. But right now this thing is anybody's championship.
We still continue to talk about battling through adversity. How about our Ram Tough guts and glory? We're going to talk about that 13 truck battling through that adversity once again here in Talladega.
He crashed hard
at Talladega.
At Talladega, had a lot of damage.
But they came to pit road. The splitter was broken. They repaired it. The left front fender was torn off of it, and he was 2 laps down.
Has received the Aaron's lucky dog. He'll
Took a
get
wave
his
around
lap back.
earlier. Yeah.
Look at that truck. They've done a nice job, too. I'd get in that baby and think I'd have a shot to win. Look at that front fender they made for it.
Ram Tough, guts and glory, the 13 team, and Johnny Sauter.